Good day, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today is Saturday, October 23rd, 3:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me show you what has been going on in the mainstream markets this week. I'll just give you a general rundown here. So here's where Yahoo Finance left off yesterday on Friday. Very mixed, as you can see. These are really hard to trade in. If you're holding, buy and hold, that's fine. Oil is up. Gold is up. The Forex, well, we know about that. Slightly down for both pound against the US, US against the Japanese yen. Here, we're seeing a little bit of an increase with Bitcoin. Down the CMC crypto 200's down quite a bit, actually 3%, and then the FTSE's up a little bit, and the Nikkei's up a bit too for Japan. So let's go through the main list here. As you can see here, you're not seeing as much Australia in US dollars you used to. These currencies are really, we had a nice rally here in the Canadian Japanese yen. It's gone flat. I only would ever want to trade anything that has trend. Canadian franc is up against the Swiss franc is up, was up, but it's declining now. Here's an interesting one: is the Deutsche 30. You can see it's a little rally sustained since October 6th. Now I'm going to show you the monthly views here, so you can see the rallies here. Since this one goes all the way back to January 2004. So these were and still continue to be pretty good ways to easily make some cash. NASDAQ is got a really good rally here, or it's flattened out a little bit, declined a little bit here since October 12th. Okay, so that is where right now I'd probably say if you were in the market holding, you've done quite well. Check it out. So you can see it's moved up, but since January 2020, it's really accelerated. That's when, oddly enough, the vaccines come in, and you can see how it's just radically accelerated versus the whole chart going again all the way back to 2004. This can also be said as well with the SPX 500 or S&P 500. Same thing, rally around the same time, and it's the same view. So these were good to be in. We'll compare these against other asset classes. So here we have Brent crude going all the way back to late August. Been a solid rally from 70 to about $85. I mean, if you want my opinion, that's not a bad return. But again, there's a reason why I do now put so much emphasis on crypto, because you're not going to get these kind of returns. You're going to get returns that'll blow the doors off of these kind of assets, and people just, I don't know why they're not shifting over, because now we've got Walmart putting in over 8,000 ATMs to get your Bitcoin. How much more mainstream can you go, let alone what PayPal's been doing? I mean, forgive me if I say Facebook's got a wallet out now for crypto. So crypto is getting there, and it's getting big and hot. So again, you got here Japan, USD and Japanese yen. Up until between September 22nd till October 15th, there was a nice rally, flattened out. I mean, we're not dealing with, like, let me just see if you were to do a buy and hold on Japanese yen. So these currencies, you can quite clearly see these are not a place to put money. U.S. indices, yes. Here's another one, gold in Australia. Can you make money there? Probably not. It's so volatile. This is gold, folks. Euro, New Zealand. One thing I want to also highlight here, you don't see a lot of in US dollar, because that's really key, because you don't see anything being held in US dollar. This is on Oanda, global Forex market, including a lot of big countries, and is a good reflection of where hot money's going into via these CFDs. I've never traded on Oanda, but I do find the data very interesting and very revealing. And this is gold. So if I was to show you the 1 month view, okay, it's done well. So we're at $1,000 up to 3,000 back in August of last year. It's dropped back. So if you were holding, you would be up $3,000, and you were dropping back to 2362. So question is, why would you tie up money into this type of investment to get a bit of a, I mean, a 3-time performance is quite good, but that's over going all the way back to, let's say, 2006. That's what, 14 years? As I said, crypto will give you much better return in a very short period of time. Here, look at this, Australia 200. Let's compare this to the States. Okay, 1 month view. That's not too bad. 668, let's say, to 7. Sorry, what was that? 60. Okay, sorry. Let's say down here we're at 2,000, 3,500 to about 7,500. So that's 2009 to 2021. Okay, that's a good return. You've doubled your money. But again, why? China we have not seen in a long time. I think this thing's starting to rally. You can see it's all over the place, but it's starting to rally here, and I say that again. I keep looking. I'm gonna be honest. I only looked at this monthly view by accident, but now I'm like, whoa. So here we got 8,000. Okay, so it's doubled and a half. Let's call it. We can see here it's starting to rally. So we know that the Chinese market is not really dependent on the U.S. So this might be a good place to go now if you want to get cashola return if the U.S. or even overall the West starts to dip. So maybe this is the reversal point here, and it's starting to move up. And look at this last rally, April last year, from 12,473 to 18,000. So that's about a 50% return, or pretty close, in a very short period of time. That's much stronger. Well, I shouldn't say, but it's very comparable to the U.S. But we don't know where the U.S. is going to go with all these debt arguments that they're having and closing down the government. We're going to be at it again in December, just so you know. Europe. Okay, so it's rallying as well. Again, from October 6th to now. Not bad. Looking at the monthly view. Oops. Let's look at the monthly view. So here, no, we want, this is, sorry, is this the, let me just get this back. Okay, it looks like I've lost my scanning. Okay, I am going to hope that this gets done by the time I look at all the other stuff. Yeah, it looks pretty fast. So let's look at copper for now. Copper, again, monthly view, really big rally here from March last year to here, April this year. It's come back, it's spiked again. And again, I bet you that spike there is just due to what's going on in China. Because China is starting to spike, as you can see in the markets. So there's most likely a relationship there. Let's continue along, let's see where we are. So we left off here in Australia. China, we talked about the euro. Yes, the Eurozone, EU, top 50. So you can see that little rally there. Let's look at the monthly view. It's done fairly well, really choppy. If you're a long-term holder, I would have just stuck in the U.S. Some of these other pairs seem to be doing okay short-term. But, let me just close this one up. But Deutsche 30 or 10-year bond, it's been declining because everything's getting stronger, as you know. The Deutsche 30, kind of rallying, but really not doing a whole lot. Look at this monthly view. Very, very good. Kind of steepening, but the U.S. still doing better on that. That's all because the U.S. Fed has been pumping so much money and racking up so much debt. It's now become like not just a house of cards, but a skyscraper of cards. And it's going to fall. It's going to fall hard. That's why we're doing the Great Reset, because they know what's coming. They're just trying to find ways to, well, I'm not going to get into it because I'll get banned on YouTube like I haven't been banned so many times. So Hong Kong against Japanese yen. So something's going on in Japan, in Asia. This rally here, it's getting stronger. This one's been a really nice surprise with India. This rally here from August 19th till here. Now it's starting to go into decline. That's probably could start petering out, and China's starting to pick up that as well. So here, Japan, 225 is kind of all over the place. But again, let's look at the monthly view. Doing fairly well, dropped off. So this one's done just as good as the U.S. Now let's look at Taiwan. Declining, slight rally. But again, these monthly views says a lot. Look at that. That's even steeper than the U.S. But it has dropped off. So if I was a betting person, I do think by looking at that steepness, Taiwan's probably the strongest market out there, which would make sense because now you know why China wants Taiwan. NASDAQ, let's compare that again to Taiwan. See, that's a steep one, but when you look at Taiwan, tell me that that's a little steeper than the U.S., but we might have missed out on that. Okay, let's go over to the Russell 2000, very flat. Again, this one won't be as strong as a good defense play, but that one's done quite well actually, looking at it. U.S. Poland. Okay, Poland is an interesting economy. Look at the overall performance. There's one other currency that I saw that was quite good. Here's the U.S. 5 years, so it's starting to decline. So there's obviously here a decline in the overall U.S. government handling of their debt situation and these negotiations of other just further debt, just pile on, who cares? Well, this is what happens. People want to hold less treasury, and that's what's really funding the U.S. government. They can raise all the tax they want. It won't be enough compared to this because people start to lose confidence in the U.S. So I think that is starting to peter out. And as I've talked before, when you start to look at the gold-silver ratio, which I've seen, with that escalating, we're beyond under normal conditions of where we were in the peak of 2008. So as I said, this is a solid decline. Let's look at the monthly here. So you can see it's been rising, which is what they want. That's all Fed printing. It's starting to decline. The next question is, will this continue and become a long-term downward trend? Because this is where it gets dicey for not just the U.S. but the West. And I think maybe, just maybe, I can't sit here and say that maybe China might start to strengthen because once they can get past their real estate debacle with Evergrande, that could collapse. But I mean, China is just bigger. They have their own situation as well, but with copper being an industrial metal, and that's starting to spike again. And when you start to see China start to spike, the China 50, there seems to be some kind of relationship there, as well as oil. That tells you that activity might start to really pick up in China, and anything China uses to feed into the Chinese economy, because it is a manufacturing-based economy. Meanwhile, you start to look at what's going on in the West if this continues. But again, the real way to confirm that is looking at the gold-silver ratio. Speaking of, let's load that up. So that is XAU and XAG. This is gold-silver ratio. You can see it has cooled off. Okay, but monthly view, as I said earlier, this is what we're talking about. So it spiked up in the pandemic, has come down, but when you start to look at even at the reversal point here, and when it rises, that means there's a concern overall in the worldwide economy. But when you look at where we're at right now, I'd say we're pretty close in the peak time of 2008, 2009 with the financial crisis. So that's what I mean is that when you just start to see it build, okay? Pandemic come along, spikes it, and now it's starting to continue to trend up minus the last month. So this is a long-term trend, and this is another reason why people are piling into crypto, because that's becoming, as I said, the future of money, on top of this being, well, the legacy and all the old way of doing things in a controlled way, and everything's becoming more decentralized and run basically by the machines like Bitcoin or Ethereum, the blockchain. No one owns it or controls it. So look at natural gas here. It did spike. It's coming back. So now you're hearing about the talk of inflation starting to taper or to drop back. I've been saying that for a while. It only really comes down to the shortage of labor and logistics of getting the products out and manufacture, process, and so on. Refined, that's what's driving up the price. But at the wholesale level, supply level, these prices have actually been declining. You might see that in some of the agriculture I'll show you. So we're still in the excellence. So things are looking good. And I haven't talked a lot about the impact of the virus, so that might start to boost overall economy as well. But a lot of it is driven by borrowed money printed out of printing presses, and there's no hard currency to say, yeah, it's doing well, because it's not backed. Now, I've also talked about this relationship here. British and Poland, very strong currency run up since the year September 9th. That would make sense when you look at Brexit and the talk of Poland now having problems in Europe. This would be a really strong relationship between these two countries, which would make sense. Let me just show you. Again, do not ever put long-term money into currencies because you won't get them. Okay? South Africa's, well, not much to be said there. So, as I said about the Australian US dollar, this is starting to rally because of, I guess, the economy's kind of opened up, and that's kind of reflective on the economy of Australia, and it's the only currency out there. And sometimes you might see the New Zealand and US dollar spike as well. It's the only currency in US dollar that's actually moving on up. See that there. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Again, a lot of these are really all over the place. We already looked at a lot of these. UK is another interesting one. It's slightly rally. It's kind of like not as strong as other economies here. So let's look at the monthly. See that big dip? It just didn't spike as much as, let's say, Taiwan or US or whatnot. Out of all the countries out there, US is spiking because of Fed printing money that doesn't really exist. Meanwhile, you look at a country like Taiwan, it's doing well, but they're not adding on a lot of debt as far as I know. So that's the clear difference between the two. Here's the US top 30. Not as strong. I mean, it's rallying, but it's flattened out a little bit in the last few days. But again, let's look at the monthly view here. Really strong rally. But right along here, the question is what's going to happen when you're starting to see the Treasury yield start to tank? Fewer people want to hold the US dollar. It's becoming an interesting situation for them. And they will print more debt that will prolong, obviously, with infrastructure, and it'll last for a while, but they can only do so much in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years. What will happen? France, again, all over the place. This has been an interesting country. Again, nice spike, but again, borrowed time because you're printing money. Europe's a complete mess because they're buying in a companies with borrowed money that they print out of the European Central Bank. That's an awesome idea. Here's the US Canadian dollar. It's been dropping. Let's look at this here. This is really clearly an oil trade, but again, crypto is not my place. Norway, same thing. I had hopes with this currency, but governments can make a big difference. With the latest government, this is just not doing too good. A lot of these, like Denmark's probably doing better, but there is one Eastern European country which I think we'll see. USD Mexico, rally, decline, whatever. More gold. Silver, I don't know if I talked about silver. Did I? I don't think I did silver. Last week, silver was doing, earlier in the week, silver was doing quite well. There's no silver here. More gold stuff. I'm not going to look at that. But here, okay, here we go. Here's the silver. Rallying since end of September. Silver in Canada, silver in Australia. So that's looking pretty good. Let's look at the 1 month chart of, let's say, Australia might be a good one. 1 month. So you can see the big spike there. $20 to $35. That's when the pandemic hit. Yeah, so that was a good one to get into compared to gold. So anyways, let's move on from, here's the New Zealand. Haven't been seeing a lot of activity with New Zealand. Yeah, I think silver in Australia would be a good one. Anyways, moving on. A lot of these we already looked at, just so you know we're in the very good. Now this is the one I want to show you here. Look at this, Euro, Hungary, very strong rally for a currency. Pretty good. That started in, when did that start? Roughly here, mid-September. Been a nice one. Let's look at the monthly. Wow. That's from January 2009. That's a very strong currency pair. Probably the strongest. Again, this is Euro, Hungary. So we're looking at, Hungary's been doing really well. I cannot deny that. So Hungary, 2008, 235. Now it's up to 363. Very strong. That's a really good sign of a country doing very well. Now here, when you look at Euro and Poland comparatively on the monthly, it's flat. Okay, just so you know, Euro and USD, biggest currency pair in the world, flat, decline flat. Let's look at this monthly view here. Just really, you could just see that decline. That is the largest in the world. You can see the nice between 2003 to 2008, before that crash, financial crash in 08. And it's been solid decline since. A true reflection of where we're at with the West. Everything's just on borrowed time when you look at that. And you look at alternative countries. Again, I just showed you Hungary, Taiwan in the markets. Japan may start to strengthen. We don't know. Look at Japan, 225. We've looked at that. Taiwan, NASDAQ we looked at. USD Russell we looked at. All of this is the top picks. Let's look at USD Czech. Really nice rally as well, but it's been flat up until October 6th. Compare that to the monthly. Flat, yeah. Hungary's, though, amazing. Just solid. Let's see how Mexico's been doing. All over the place. Well, I'll just leave it at that. So that's another good one here is Mexico. $10. Peaked at 24. Now it's at 20. So it has doubled since January 2009. Interesting things that you learn. Okay, let's talk about the agriculture. This is the first one here. Is sugar. Here's the inflation that they were talking. Let's say May, June, peaked here at August 18th, been slightly declining. Where's the inflation with this one? At the wholesale level. Before, this is after it's been, call it manufactured process. Okay, so here's the monthly view. You can see that big spike. Sugar's a really good one. You can see these nice rallies. Okay, I think we're hitting a peak here on this last rally since January from 10 cents to 20 cents. People wouldn't know this, right? But that's why I like looking at this stuff, because you're going to see little things you would never think. Sugar? Like who would think that, right? We're going to look at some of the other agricultural products while we're on this topic. Singapore Hong Kong dollar would be an interesting one to look at in the tank. Let's look at this on the monthly view. I really enjoy. Wow. Okay, that's fairly new listing there. Okay, Deutsche 30, NASDAQ, USD, XAU. Yeah, okay. So let's look at some of the agricultural ones. So the first one we'll look at is corn. Okay, so again, let's talk inflation. Let's talk inflation. Corn would be one. That's a food basic. So you can see it's been very flat. Came off of that big rally here. Well, not big, but again, where's that inflation for corn? Right? It's not there. So whoever's saying it is just basically lying to you. You cannot deny these in the charts. Let's look at the monthly view here. You could see the inflation last year, yes. You can see it spiked after the financial crash and went back up in 2012. So yes, there was some form of inflation up until here of April 2021. So yeah, but look at what's happened since. It's dropped back, okay? Again, where are this inflation? Okay, I'm not going to say anything because I do believe this is all pre-planned. Like, everything, this has all been, look how flat this is. Where's the inflation again? This is wheat. Okay? Here, okay, there's a slight increase, but, I mean, again, this is wheat we're talking about. On food costs, why is there a shortage? A lot of food's manufactured and processed in the States. Well, I don't get it. What was another one? Wheat, corn, soya. I think the four I have is sugar, soybean, wheat, corn. Again, look at that. Solid decline since August. Okay? So, yeah, we will. But there was, no doubt, a price increase. No different in the past. Here, 2006, September, all the way up to here, May 2001. Here, it spiked back to March 2020 to April 21, and it's declining again. So is this inflation going to die off? It should. So I'm not going to worry about it. Anyways, this is just a reflection of what's going on out there. As I said, there are better places to get returns. Crypto, as I said. Want to learn more, get involved in my chat server, quantlabs.info. That's free. And then the last one, you can get on my email list at quantlabs.net/contact. Thanks for watching. We shall talk to you later. Have a good day.